गौरंग गंधार श्री राधा जी की जय। श्री गोविंद गोपीनाथ मदन मोहन जी की जय। नित्यानंद विष्णु विष्णुपाद अश्वतर कुमार भक्ति ग्रंथ नारायण गोसाई महाराज श्री गुरुदेव की जय। नित्यानंद विष्णु विष्णुपाद अश्वतर कुमार भक्ति ग्रंथ वामन गोसाई महाराज की जय। नित्यानंद विष्णु विष्णुपाद अश्वतर भक्ति ग्रंथ साई महाराज पार। नित्यानंद विष्णु विष्णुपाद अच्युत भक्ति प्रज्ञान केशव गोसाई महाराज। नित्यानंद विष्णु विष्णुपाद अच्युत भक्ति प्रज्ञान केशव गोसाई महाराज की जय। नित्यानंद विष्णु विष्णुपाद अच्युत भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती गोसाई प्रभुपाद की जय। नित्यानंद विष्णु महाभागवत श्री गौर सबरी महाराज की जय। नित्यानंद विष्णु शुद्ध सच्चिदानंद भक्ति विनोद ठाकुर की जय। नित्यानंद विष्णु वैष्णव सार्वभौम श्री जगन्नाथ दास बाबूजी महाराज की जय। श्री रूपानु गौड़िया गुरु वर्ग की जय। श्री रूप सनातन भट्ट रघुनाथ श्री जीव गोपाल भट्टदास रघुनाथ शार गोसाई प्रभु की जय। श्री स्वरूप दामोदर राय रामानंदारी श्री गौर पार्षद वृंद की जय। नाम जय श्री हरिदास ठाकुर की जय। प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधार शिवासरी गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। श्री क्षेत्र मंडल कोरमंडल ब्रजमंडल मथुरा वृंदावन धाम की जय। सर्व अभिष्ट प्रदात गिरिराज महाराज की जय। श्री राधा कुंड श्याम कुंड की जय। श्री यमुना देवी गंग देवी की जय। श्री तुलसी महारानी वृंद देवी की जय। श्री भक्ति देवी की जय। श्री पूर्णमासी योग माया की जय। श्री गोपेश्वर महादेव की जय। श्री हरि नाम संकीर्तन की जय। जय श्रील भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी प्रभुपाद की जय। जय श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। जय श्री हरि नाम संकीर्तन की जय। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। समागत गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। श्री निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल। हरे कृष्णा। Dandava pranams. All right, let's do a short Mangala Charan and then we will get to hear the glorification of Śrīla Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada from Nṛhari Prabhu and Bhavatāriṇī Mātājī. So, one second, let me just open this up. Where is it? Simple Mangala Charan. Okay. We won't do full, I'm just going to do a short Mangala Charan. Ajnanatimidandasya Jnananjana-shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam yena tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Guruve Gaurachandraya Radhikaya Tadalaya Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tarbhaktaya Namo Namo. Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Radhikaya Priyatmane Shishimar Bhakti Vedanta Narayanitte Namine. Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschata Deshatarine. Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Acharya Singharupine Shri Srimad Bhakti Pragyana Keshavayati Namine. Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Iti Namine. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Namo mahavadanyaya Krishna prema pradayate Krishnaya Krishna chaitanya namne gauratrishe namaha. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dīnabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Suterevi Pranamami Hari Priye Jayatam Suratopam no, Vrindai Tulsi Devai Priyaya Keshavashacha Krishna Bhakti Pradadevi Satyavatai Namo Namaha Bhaja Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Rama. Oh, and Nṛhari Prabhu yesterday, he sent some other pranam mantras for Śrīla Prabhupāda. So let me just opening them up right now. Here. All right, there are my downloads. 1 second. Let me just open. Yeah. Okay. So Agora Shri Rupa Siddhanta Saraswati Nishevine Radha Krishna Padamboja Bringaya Guruve Namaha. So the meaning is, he's constantly engaged in exclusive devotional service to Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, Srila Rupa Goswami, and Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. I offer my humble obeisances unto Śrīla Prabhupāda, who is just like a bumblebee, always tasting the nectar of the lotus feet of Sri Radha Krishna. And the next Namo Gurvagyam Shirasi Dharyam Shaktavesha Swarupine Hare Krishneti Mantrena Paschatya Prachatarine Vishvacharya Prabharyaya Divya Karunyamurtaye Shri Bhagavata Madhurya Gita Jnana Pradayine. Taking the order of his guru on his head, he became empowered to act as a Shaktivesh avatar. He distributed the Hare Krishna mantra all over the Western world, delivering and uplifting all fallen souls. He is the best of millions of Jagat Gurus because he is the personification of divine mercy. He has distributed the sweet nectar of Srimad Bhagavatam and the transcendental knowledge of Bhagavad Gita all over the world. Jai. All right. And that was written by, is that Bhakti Sundar Govinda Maharaj? Oh. All right. So thank you. Dandavat pranams, everybody. Was I sharing my screen that whole time? I think I was. And yeah, Dandavat pranams, everybody. Nṛhari Krishna Prabhu, Nṛhari Prabhu, Bhavatāriṇī Mātājī, Champak Mātājī, Krishna Maya Didi, and on YouTube and Facebook, Rukmini Didi, and Ganga Mātājī. And I see 6 devotees on YouTube and Facebook. Dandavat pranams, everybody. So we are very fortunate today. We get to hear directly from Śrīla Prabhupāda's dear disciples, Shri Nṛhari Prabhu and Bhavatāriṇī Mātājī. We get what they'll make their pushpanjali at the lotus feet of their beloved Gurudev, Śrīla Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. So Nṛhari Prabhu and Bhavatāriṇī Mātājī, I think you can have like it's like 20 minutes, okay, for each of you. You can 20-minute glorification each. So 40 minutes.
Yeah, sure, Prabhu. I'm sorry, the mic wasn't open. Yeah, no problem. That's, I think, a lot. At the same time, we can end the glorification.
Okay. Yeah, and it's okay if you yeah, I think if you need a little bit more time also, that's fine.
No,
Okay.
I think we're
We're good.
But I think we're probably best one at a time.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
There you go.
Just do your-
Oh, okay. Sorry. Agyana timirandasya gyananjana salakaya chakshurumilitanyena tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschacha Disatarine. Nityananda Namastuvyam Premananda Pradayine Kalo Kalmasanashnaha Janavapataye Namaha. Namo Mahavadhanaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Gaura Tise Namaha. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kantarada Kantara Mustate Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye. Hare Krishna, dear devotees, and this group, Madhukar, and including you, Shamali, and I've been asked to speak a few words, and it's quite a tall order to fulfill, but it's my duty to, and I want to glorify my spiritual master. So here we go. Prabhupada came and he multitasked so many, he did so many things. And just not only opening an international society, but then going back to a country, his country of origin, where he had so many impediments, including governmental impediments. They thought we were CIA. When Śrīla Prabhupada arrived in Mumbai, there was a group in Calcutta too. There was a gang that wanted to get him. I don't know how bona fide this is, but I just watched it, and a little bit of his history from the Indian perspective, this Indian. And at the beginning, they rejected him because he was bringing foreigners, and they thought that the rumor was that Bhagavad Gita, as it is, was a foreigner book translated by foreigners, and now they're here and they're in such number. Maybe they're at CIA, maybe it's U.S. implant. All that stuff was going on, and if you can imagine the extremes, they went to. Some people tried to really do some harm, but Krishna was on Prabhupada's side. It was known that you can't harm a pure devotee. So externally, there's so many amazing things, miraculous things, very powerful things that the Shaktavish avatar could display. And so, because to move the material, move it aside, or he waged war against material nature, against Durga. And then and did so much in that platform of his external power. But what did he come to give? What did he come to give? And so Nṛhari Maharaj expressed it very well in his Gauravani Pracharine book, and he's so right. He said he came to give Gauravani. And where is that Vani? It's the path of the spontaneous life, Marga. And then Madhurya Ras, to follow the steps of the highest devotees of Lord Sri Krishna from Braja, and the Summum Bonum we know who it is, the top is Śrīla Srimati Radha. So yes, I can tell you, I was witness to some amazing things. And my very good friend, he passed away, Keshava. But one time they were in Berkeley or somewhere, and there was a platform with Lord Jagannath Subhadra Baladev above the head of Prabhupada or the devotees. That was London?
Yeah,
and so
Shekhar was there too.
Oh yeah, so there are two witnesses that now they passed away. Sorry, but the platform kind of got loose, broke, and so it went in a slant, and the deities were like sliding down, starting to slide down. And Keshav was looking at this, and he's a Kshatriya, big guy, 6'3", muscle, everything. But Prabhupada went like this, he picked up his 2 fingers and put it up underneath the platform, and he held it until the devotees kind of got it together, probably 5 minutes later, to secure everything. So that was little. Another time, my brother-in-law witnessed how lion-like Prabhupada was and how much he cared about his disciples. So they were in a pandal, and this man, drunk or whatever, was very violent, coming out to get Achyutananda in Maharaj at that time. And Prabhupada just grabbed him from the chest. He just threw him like 8 feet away. And it was like, the bodies were like, you know, it was like he went down. Everybody applauded probably, and like that. You know, yes, it was exceptional. It was really mesmerizing, you could say. And for many people, it just, of course, you know, we're all in the Bible. There's one of the disciples is Thomas, and Thomas is always doubting, you know, that maybe he's not, maybe he didn't come, you know. And so Jesus shows him, see, you know, see the scars, see. It reminded me kind of the story of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Haridas Thakur, when he was thinking, I was ready to come with my Sudarshan chakra and kill all these atheists, but you didn't let me, because I follow, you know, God always follows the devotee. Actually, he fulfills his wishes. So he said, look, Haridas, look at my back. I embraced you, and I go. That's why you felt no pain, and like that. But I can't do anything to them because you will be upset. So I won't do that. And so I love it. The poem what you were reading yesterday, where you know, Prabhupada speaks to Krishna. I said, you want to get some brownie points with Radhe, then you got to help me. So what personality? Who can talk to him like that? So one time, Srila Nṛhari Maharaj spoke, saying that if you really know who he is, you'll be fainting. You'd be fainting. So yes, so there was so many. One time we were at the temple room, Prabhupada just came in. The old temple where now the museum is in Los Angeles. And well, the very old temple was La Ciénaga, but then they moved to this place in Huatzika. And the temple was where the museum is now. And so there was plenty of room. I mean, we were so many of us. I was looking yesterday at the films, and they're like, I mean, wow. You know, there were thousands of people that would come, not just devotees and people, that regular people. And so I'm like standing about 10 feet away behind some brahmacharis, where all the men would just stand one side. And then I started to get sprinkled. Everybody got sprinkled. And nobody was doing arti or throwing water. And we looked, it was Prabhupada. And I have other go shooting tears, you know. So yeah. So Prabhupada was a little reluctant to show his mystic powers or his ecstatic emotions that he felt, like a pure devotee. They don't display them that easily, but sometimes they can't help themselves, you know, and especially when Prabhupada addressed the devotees one time on the occasion of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada's appearance, his Guru Maharaj, and Prabhupada at the end he had to quit the lecture. He was, you know, choking and like that, and tears, you know, all this statics. One time Bhavatāriṇī was in the temple in Los Angeles, wasn't it?
Right.
And Śrīla Prabhupada, just like that, just like the gopis.
Oh,
He pointed it at.
That was a lecture. He started it off by saying that Devaki and Vasudeva had material desires. That's why they had so much trouble, because they wanted a child just like Krishna, and that's not possible. So Krishna had to come and be their child. And so they had a almost a material desire. And then he went on and he used to speak maybe half an hour or 45 minutes, and he'd always bring the lecture back to how he started it. And he said that he's speaking again about how they had some desires, and that's why they were having troubles. And then he looked at the picture of Radha and Krishna and the Astasakis, and he said, but the gopis, they never asked Krishna for anything. And then he stopped speaking and he went into ecstasy, and we were all just like with our mouths dropped open, and we didn't say anything. And a few minutes went by and Śrīla Prabhupada snaps back and says, chant.
So yes. And so from the very beginning, when I was introduced by my brother-in-law to Śrīla Prabhupada, together with my sister, went to see him, and we arrived there in November, at the end of November, 73. I was already initiated, and actually it was November, but I arrived in December, beginning of December. And so my first meeting with Prabhupada, he displayed, we were thinking, and I was reading how this manifestation of Super Soul, and Prabhupada immediately displayed his little power, mystic power. So I edited 3 books. I love reading and into Spanish, Castilian, and I brought him with us. I brought it with me to the darshan.
They were the first books translated into Spanish.
And could you mention what books they were?
Yes, Raja Vidya, Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and Easy Journey to Other Planets. That was like, Prabhupada had a knack for picking up names that will be in the subconscious or the conscious masses or what we were at. So the youth was that we're thinking of planets, thinking of traveling, going to the moon. All that stuff was going on in the mid 60s, at the end of the 60s and into the 70s. And so his titles were just perfect. So so externally we could talk so much. I mean, that's so much. Oh, I sent you a little picture. I don't know if you got it, of his journey. He's now entering the Suez Canal. He's at the heel of the.
By email?
Yeah, I sent you by email. I don't know if it's still the same.
Oh, I see it. Yes. Here, I'll show.
I didn't know how to transfer it to WhatsApp. But...
No, it's fine. That's email's perfect.
Oh, okay.
Do you want to show that now, or do you want to continue? Because you were just in the middle. You came to Śrīla Prabhupada with 3 books.
Yes. So then he displayed his mystic powers right then and there. I'm totally petrified. A word couldn't come out of my mouth. I was afraid, and the room kind of stretched, to my feelings that Prabhupada was there, far away, and then he kept on signaling. So I looked back, and it was me. He wanted me to get closer and closer. I said, "Why? I mean, here's my brother-in-law. This is our senior devotee, and like that,
sister.
and my sister, and like that, and."
His sister was very famous when they joined, so they made a big deal about her. She got to meet Prabhupada, and
our family,
yeah.
our family was kind of prominent there, actually. In
so he was surprised that Prabhupada was noticing him.
But I just, yeah, and so and he kept on signaling, "Come closer," and so finally I was to the side of his desk, very close to him. And Prabhupada took the books and his eyes opened real wide.
He'd forgotten he had the books. Prabhupada had.
Oh, yes, he's saying, "No."
What is that?
I'm clenching the book to my chest and I'm looking at Prabhupada, okay, what's next? I didn't say anything, but Prabhupada says, it's signal. He was expert in gestures. There wasn't he could speak without talking. And I'll let you know in a minute. And so he looks at the books and his eyes got so wide open, and so he reads the titles. He proceeds to read the titles in perfect Spanish. And I went,
You thought.
wow, Prabhupada speaks also Spanish. And Prabhupada looked at me and said, Krishna speaks even the birds' languages.
He
was like,
thought it. He didn't say it. He thought, oh, Śrīla Prabhupada
I thought
speaks
it, yeah.
Spanish.
Yeah.
And Prabhupada looks at him and goes, yes, Krishna speaks even the birds' language.
So that was one display, you know. And then another, fast forward to 74, when I was there in Los Angeles, one night he gave a lecture, and at the end of the lecture, he says, did you like that? I was like, yeah, probably, yes. Me too, I liked it. That's Paramatma.
That's what Prabhupada
That's
says.
Paramatma. So yes, we were thinking, oh yes, the acharyas might have a different opinion, but one time, and it's like so achintya vida tattva, but one time this Bhagavad Maharaj, knows the story in more detail, that Prabhupada was there in Mumbai at the rooftop, and I think it was Giriraj Maharaj and Tamal Krishna Goswamis that, and Prabhupada asked him about a verse, and they scrambled to try to remember it, and Prabhupada said, no, you have to study. You know what happens here every day? Krishna comes and dictates, and I write. So, we consider the 6 Goswamis and the Sapta Goswami as what they write is Kranta, isn't it? So, and so they are really speaking, it's like the mouthpiece to Paramatma in situations. So it's so enigmatic and beautiful. It's science full of mysteries. That's like Chaitanya Charitamrita, isn't it? It's very scientific, because here we have a process that definitely you get results at. So yeah, going back, it's just so much to express what he'd done, and for future generations. And we see it now ourselves. We're now older, and we see you, and it's just you don't know how it feels. It's just amazingly wonderful. You're like Prabhupada brought you. It's like you come here to participate in this Harinam Sankirtan movement. And I think that Prabhupada actually in the future, it will be recognized that he was the most prominent, the most important personage in the 20th century for what he brought. He contributed to humanity and to get us out of the hole that we are in. And we again are getting into the hole. And so, but he left us Harinam, he left us so much, like all the acharyas and like that. But yeah, we as the next step, like Srila Nṛhari Maharaj, Srila Gurudev will say, you have to progress. We have to promote ourselves. And so Prabhupada wanted us to go internally and go to the highest, enter the highest realms, not abandon anything that is Vaidhi Bhakti or the rules and regulations. They're done, but in a different way. It's now out of a sentiment of love. If there is no emotion of love, Krishna, he has everything. So what he would accept from us? Nothing. So what does he want? Devotion. Prabhupada explains that so well in so many lectures, that devotional services for everybody. There's no barriers. So yes, we have to progress towards being Rupanugas, like he said we are, and go into the goal of life, which is that. And so Nṛhari and Prabhupada buried all that stuff into capsules of nectar into the Śrīmad Bhagavatam and the Chaitanya Charitamrita especially. You can see how he opens up to the next phase, like that. But he was a gardener of Imaginam International Society, so we're so many levels of consciousness that, so much package that we brought from us or cultural things, We were talking about that sometimes by cultural custom, something is great for one person and it will be offensive to the other. If there was godbrother that speaks about that. He was counseling this couple, and she was a different country, or Italian or something, and she liked the ends of the bread, the crust, and she loved her husband so much. She was always bringing him that, and he thought that was the worst part of the bread, the hard. But he didn't say anything, so the resentment grew and grew like that, and so.
Then what happened?
Oh, so then by communicating and telling, oh, this is how we do it in my culture, and I said, oh my God, okay, oh wow, I'm sorry. So I think it's time for us all to unite again. To Srila Gurudev wanted us to distribute books, to probably have a wave. He wanted that wave, inspirational wave that Prabhupada gave. I mean, so much. I mean, that sent devotees all around the world to chant the holy name, to spread the holy name, and give hope to humanity. More than hope, some concrete solution to our problems of life. Yeah. And so people won't be living in fear, and they will have a clear goals. There will be this call about misinformation, disinformation, all these material characters that are there nowadays. You don't want to see. But in this Western world, now it's all about the election in the US, and it's not about the quality of the speaker and his virtues, but it's about how bad they are, and they throw each other dirt. It's like that. It's whoever accumulated more dirt, it's not non-votable, whatever it is. So anyhow, yeah, there's need of concrete truth, and that was one of the things that really Prabhupada pushed us to be warriors, like disseminating this, be fearless. Abhay. His father, Prabhupada, said he dedicates Gita to him. He says to a pure devotee, and his father named him Fearless, and he kept that name. And his Guru Maharaj kept it too. He changed Charanarvindam, but it's there. So that's why, in some ways, I said that, yeah, that's kind of like, like Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur gave titles. And I think Prabhupada in Allahabad, when he got his Diksha, Harinama Diksha, and he had that name, that he thought, I think he must have think, wow, there's no coincidence. So he left that AC, Abhay Charanarvindam, Bhaktivedanta Swami. So to the fearless warrior, to our general. Oh, by the way, the devotees have found, my godbrothers found, I think it's in Padma Purana, a quote by this general in Kali Yuga that will conquer the globe by Harinam. There's got to be one, and then Bhaktivinoda Thakur, of course, we know his predictions and like that. So to you, Prabhupada, today, my most humble obeisances, and thank you for all the blessings you have given us. Hare Krishna. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha.
What about the Suez Canal?
Oh yes, I sent that to you. If you want to show devotees, I don't know if we follow in the diary. He's right at entering the Suez Canal.
Okay, I didn't realize, because yeah, I did want to do the diary, but then it seems like there was a bunch of, like the one on Database, there was a bunch of days missing, I guess.
Oh,
okay.
Yeah,
So this I'm just opening it right here.
Okay, I guess the whole article went with it, but I think if you open it or scroll down, there should be.
Yeah. So this is August 29, which is today. Okay, perfect.
Yes. 1970.
Okay. And there's a picture. Okay, so but the garlands kept coming, and again they piled up, almost covering Prabhupada's face. There's a full passing. Okay, so
he's coming back to India, to Calcutta, especially 3 years later. There you go. That's the map.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is the memory of the day Śrīla Prabhupada Janmashtami special. Oh wait.
Okay, this is where Jaladuta, the Voyage of Compassion, August 29, 1965, at sea in Red Sea. Okay, so now Śrīla Prabhupada is in the Red Sea.
So you see it's right, the heel of the Arabian Peninsula,
Okay.
Saudi Yemen, and there's so much trouble now there. Anyhow, this is yes, 28, 29. So he already made through the strait of there's a strait there, and tomorrow will be for you 29 today, isn't it?
Yeah, it's the 29th. Yeah.
Okay, so we're on the 28th. So by 29th he does a little he's on his way. Okay.
Yeah.
So that's what's happening to 28. He's just entering the Red Sea. But it would be so nice to be able to have the diary.
Yeah. Okay. So there was no diary.
Okay.
It says today, 17th day of Śrīla Prabhupada's journey. On this day too, Śrīla Prabhupada made no entry in his Jaladuta diary. He must have been recuperating post his 2 heart attacks. Okay, because we were reading in the diary, and then it's like a bunch of days that there's no entries, but it was because he was recuperating.
Right. Yes. And I had no idea. I just thought that his heart attacks came in the Atlantic, but no, he started to have some problems already leaving Calcutta and turning, going around the southern part of India, the Arabian Sea, and his determination, do or die.
And it says on January 25th, 1977 in Puri, Śrīla Prabhupada recalled his heart attack on board Jaladuta, and related a Krishna conscious message to his disciples. So Śrīla Prabhupada says, the word apratihata is used. Pratihata means checking. When your devotional service will make progress in spite of checking, that is pure devotion. Ahoituki apratihata yenatma suprasiditi.
Yes, 126.
Yeah, 126. And that is pure devotion. I was attacked by heart attack thrice while on the ship twice. Devotee, on the ship twice? Oh, and Śrīla Prabhupada says, consecutively 2 days attack. Actually, I would have died on the ship before reaching your country. I cannot understand that. I could not understand that was a heart attack. The pain was so severe. I thought, I am now dying. And it happened on 2 nights. And I was very much afraid whether on the 3rd night it will recur. I was thinking, if tonight also the same pain comes again, then I'll die. But the 3rd night, it did not pain. It was suspended. So bodily, mental, by enemies, so many impediments will come. What can be done? We have to tolerate. That is material world. We cannot expect smooth, very happy. That is not possible. Krishna is advising Arjuna. He's advising Arjuna what to speak of us. What are we in comparison to Arjuna? He's his personal friends talking with him. He says, tongues tatikshasva. Krishna never said, I've made some magic. You'll have no failure like that. Tongues tatikshasva. You just try to tolerate. That's all. He never gave him any tablets, chuckling. As the modern gurus say, I'll give you some ash. There'll be no more trouble. Krishna did so? He said, no, tolerate. That's all. He could have said, I'll give you some ash. You are an ass. I'll give you some ash. Neither Arjuna asked also, why are you asking me to fight? Give me some ash. I'll throw. He was not such a fool that he asked some magic from Krishna and kill his enemies. Actually, he fought. This is Bhagavad Gita. So face things as they are and depend on Krishna. That is our duty. We must go on with our duty. Don't expect any ash, miracle, magic. Wow. I love that.
Yes. He said, don't think that they're going to Vrindavan, you're going to make yourself comfortable.
Yes.
Or anybody, Yeah.
Thank you so much, Nṛhari Prabhu. Yeah, and we will continue on as soon as Śrīla Prabhupada starts writing in his diary again. We'll continue reading it in our programs. Well, yeah. All right. Jai Shri Radhe. All right. Bhavatāriṇī Mātājī, would you like to make your offering? Yeah. You shut off the mic and the camera though. You can just start that up again. The mic and camera is off. I can't hear anything if you're speaking right now.
Hold on.
All right. Yes.
Okay. All right. Sorry.
And Nṛhari Prabhu, thank you. That was such a wonderful offering. Thank you so much. I'm feeling, thank you
You're
very
very welcome, Prabhu. I hope I'm in service to you.
Amajana Taranjasha Yanakina Shalakaya Chakshus Militanjena Tajmaya Shri Gurave Namaha Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Shri Mate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Iti Namane Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pacharane Nevasesha Sunyavadi Pastacha Deshatarane. So I offer my humble obeisances to my eternal and spiritual master and pray his causeless mercy to my Shiksha Gurus, Guru Varga, Panchatattva Gaurnitai, Radha Krishna Jugal, and all the Vaishnavas and Vaishnavis on this program today, and pray their causeless mercy. What can I say about Śrīla Prabhupada? He was unprecedented. I had no idea. Like you growing up, you knew about pure devotees, Krishna, gurus. I had no such idea. And when Śrīla Prabhupada came into my life, he was simply not a Vaikuntha man. He was a Gokula man. Gokula man. Because he had all the material impediments there and all the defects of being in the material world, but it was the spiritual world. And he had the human-like pastimes. And the first time I saw him, the airplane landed and then some stairs came down and people were piling out and walking down the steps onto the tarmac. And suddenly the door to the airplane lit up. And there was Śrīla Prabhupada wearing saffron. He was golden and he was holding a cane and the wind was blowing his silk saffron dhoti. And he had on a marigold garland. And he started walking down the steps, and when he got to the tarmac, his feet did not touch the ground, and he looked like a swan gliding across the tarmac. And then he came into the room at the airport. He never left the airport. We rented a room in the airport, and we made him a Vyasa-san in Atlanta, Georgia. He'd gone to a television show in Gainesville, Florida, and was flying back to New York and had a 2-hour stopover in Atlanta, Georgia. And we'd made him a little Vyasa-san after one of the paperback books of the Bhagavatam, the chapters that used to come out. There was a picture of Krishna sitting, or no, I think it was Brahma on a Vyasa-san with Narada Muni there. And we copied that little Vyasa-san and put it on top of 2 tables. And he didn't want to get up on the table, but they convinced him, and 2 brahmacharis helped him get up on the table, and he sat down and he had a blue effulgence just lighting up the whole area around him and behind him. And my husband at the time, we looked at each other and we said, do you see that blue effulgence? And we both, yes. And we said, well, we better not mention it to anyone because they'll think we're having an LSD flashback. So we never said anything to anyone. And then when Satsarup's book came out, everyone was saying, and on that day, Śrīla Prabhupada was emanating a blue effulgence. So it was just out of this world. And everyone in the room was lifted to the spiritual world. And it was like that every time we were in Śrīla Prabhupada's presence. And this occasion, we did a play for him. I wasn't in the play. Oh, I had two children that were under, one was 3 and one was 1.5 or 2. And my son Vrindavan was 3 or 4, and he wanted to give Prabhupada a flower, but I thought boys shouldn't give him a flower. And the 2-year-old Kunti, their names weren't Vrindavan and Kunti yet, she had a flower to give him. And so on the way to the room in the airport, my son found a flower and picked it. And so he, I was saying, no, you can't do that. But I let the 2-year-old give him a flower, and she gave it to him and ran away and hid behind me. And then my son went up and gave him the flower and paid his dandavats and got up, and Śrīla Prabhupada looked at him and said, thank you very much. And for 2 weeks, anyone who looked at my son, he'd say, Śrīla Prabhupada spoke to me. He said, thank you very much.
It was like, it was like, I don't know, you can maybe some little comparison to a rock star, like, the anticipation, the excitement.
So then we did the play, The Brahmin and the Cobbler. And there was a devotee who was playing Narada Muni. And it was the first time any of us, except any of us at that temple had ever seen Śrīla Prabhupada. And he was so overwhelmed. He came in and he paid obeisances to Prabhupada, and then he paid obeisances to he's probably downstairs. I think a devotee's here. And he paid obeisances to everyone in the room, and he kept turning around and paying obeisances. And so the play was basically stopped. So Śrīla Prabhupada became the narrator. He said, just see, Narada Muni is so humble that he pays obeisances to everyone and everything. And then Śrīla Prabhupada narrated the entire play. And afterwards, they brought him some prasadam. And this is the first time I had ever seen Śrīla Prabhupada. And they gave him some watermelon. And he took the piece of watermelon, put his head back and tossed it in his mouth. And then they shut the sliding door, and he took prasadam. And then he spoke afterwards. And after he spoke, there was an Indian man from Emory University. And Śrīla Prabhupada said, what do you do? And he said, I'm a biologist. He says, oh, so you are killing frogs. And he says, we are killing them so that we can understand them better. And Prabhupada said, I would like to understand you better. May I kill you? So he threw himself at Śrīla Prabhupada's shoes, and he was kissing his shoes. And his shoes were those kind, the oriental kind that come up and curl up at the toes. I remember that. He had like a genie's shoes. And he said, you can do anything you like with me. He said to Prabhupada. And,
but I didn't totally understand that. Who is kicking? Is the
he wasn't kicking. He said, Prabhupada said, so you are killing frogs. He said, yes, we are killing them so that we can understand them better. And Prabhupada said, I would like to understand you better. May I kill you?
Yeah, I was wondering about the shoe part, though, kicking the shoe.
No, he kissed his shoes.
Oh,
Prabhupada
he kissed
was
the shoes.
up high on the chair, and his shoes were on the floor, so he paid his dandavats and kissed Śrīla Prabhupada.
I thought you said kicked his shoes. I was like, what?
No, he kissed his shoes.
I misheard. Okay.
And then as Prabhupada was going back to get on the plane, a devotee that would come to the temple every day, but took care of his mother who had cancer. And he was very old at the time. He was much older than all of us. He was 40 years old. And his mother was probably in her 70s, but she was in a wheelchair. And as they were leaving, she wheeled herself in front of Śrīla Prabhupāda and threw herself at his feet on the floor and said, "Śrīla Prabhupāda, I'm dying." And he rubbed her on the head and said, "Do not worry, you will be all right." And then we followed him back, and he got on the plane and flew away. That was the first time I ever saw him. And I'm sorry if it's not philosophical or, like, but it was just so memorable and out of this world. It was, and coming from someone in the West who'd never experienced any transcendence, this just was, it lifted everyone out of the material world. We were all in the spiritual world for that time. And of course, I had many exchanges with him, and later on with Srila Nṛhari Maharaj, he was always increasing our attachment and helping us to know him even better. So there's so many things to say, and it's like re-experiencing them just to discuss his pastimes. One thing interesting, though, is Nṛhari was saying how Prabhupada, people witnessed to his feet didn't touch the ground, and I witnessed that also. But one time I went on a walk with him in Los Angeles, on a morning walk, and I was the only woman there except for the filmmaker who was doing a film for her master's in film at the University of Los Angeles. And she was doing a film, she was from Indonesia, on how even a single mother with children could become Krishna conscious. This was 1973. And so she wanted me to be in the film. And so she wanted to start the film with Śrīla Prabhupada on his morning walk. And so I was the only woman on the morning walk except for her who was filming. And I had to be right behind him. And all the sannyasis were trying to push me out of the way. They didn't know what was going on. They didn't know why some woman was on the walk with all of them. And she told me to stay right behind him. And at that time, his feet were making footprints in the sand. And so I walked by putting my feet in his footprints. So that's so at that time his feet were touching the ground. Of course, that's amazing. And you think of Uddhava, he wanted to get the dust from the feet of the gopis when they inadvertently get the dust on the plants and the creepers, and just trying to understand what is the foot dust of the devotees. And it's incomprehensible. Another nice thing about Śrīla Prabhupada was the way he lectured. He had like an opening line at the beginning of the lecture. I think I went to about 200 lectures, and you probably went to that many with Gurudev or more. You probably went to more, but he would start with like an opening line. Then he would go into so many subjects and details and stories, and he'd come back to the beginning. And I remember one, he said, devotees are not moral. And then he points to a picture of Lord Nrsimhadev, killing Hiranyakashipu. He says, not only is Nrsimhadev killing Prahlad's father, but Prahlad is not protesting, but he's offering a flower garland to the murderer. This is not moral. So, and yesterday at the temple, my son Vrindavan spoke, and he said something very encouraging. He said that all these years, everything going on, he goes, I'm just in Maya, he says, but I never lost my connection with Śrīla Prabhupāda, and it's always there, and I'm always saved by that. So anyway, I should probably stop. I'm sure there are other people to speak, but it's so many facets to Śrīla Prabhupāda's personality. And I was saying, Manjari was saying about Shaktivesh avatar. And yes, I think that's what Gurudev was saying, is that he's everything, not limited to just being avatar of Nityananda, but he's also that, but more. So thank you, everyone, for putting up with my inadequate offering to Śrīla Prabhupada. Jai. Hare Krishna. Vanchakalpatarubhascha kripa sindhu chevacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Jai. Hari Bol.
Dhanavad pranams. Thank you. That was such a wonderful Pushpanjali. Nṛhari Prabhu and Bhavatāriṇī Mātājī, both very wonderful offerings. We're so fortunate that you're always joining these programs and that we get to hear from you. So yeah, very grateful.
We're very fortunate to be able to be part of these programs and to see you and Shamali. Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Jai Śrīla Prabhupāda ki jai.
Jai.
All right, so I think that is that's our program for today then. So we will end here. It's 8 o'clock, so that's a good time to end. And tomorrow we will continue on with our program reading Radha Krishna Ganadesh Tipika by Śrīla Rupa Goswami Pad. I think tomorrow we're reading about Krishna's servants, if I remember correctly. I don't remember actually, but yeah. So yeah, I'll just do a little Maha Mantra and then we can we'll end. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Gurudeva, 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 Jai Gurudeva, Jai Gurudeva, 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 Jai Gurudeva, Jai Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Prabhupada, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur Hari Bol. Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Gaur Hari Bol. Jai Shri Sachinandan Gaur Hari ki Jai, Shri Radha Vinod Bihari Ju ki Jai, Shri Govinda Gopinath Maran Mohan Ju ki Jai, Jai Srila Gurudev ki Jai, Jai Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Śrīla Prabhupāda ki Jai, Jai Srila Param Gurudev ki Jai, Jai Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada ki Jai, Jai Shri Rupanu Gauriya Guru Varga ki Jai, Swaparshad Shri Gaur Nityananda Prabhu ki Jai, Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopi Gana ki Jai, Shri Giriraj Maharaj ki Jai, Shri Tulsi Maharani Vrinda Devi ki Jai, Jai Shri Harinam Sankirtan ki Jai, Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki Jai, Samagata Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki Jai, Shri Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Vrindai Tulsi Devai Glorification of Śrīla Krishna Bhakti Siddha Bhavatāriṇī Mātājī Vancha Kalpaturu Bhashta Kripa Sindhu Shri Vacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo. Right. Dandavat Pranams, Nṛhari Prabhu and Bhavatāriṇī Mātājī and Anari Krishna Prabhu, Champak Mātājī, Krishna Mai Didi, Chatamai Mātājī, Hare Krishna, and let's see on YouTube and Facebook, Ganga Mātājī, Rukmini Didi, Brinda Didi, Vidya Lalasa Didi, Prajumna Prabhu, Mantramurti Mātājī. I already said Rukmini Didi, right? Yeah, and Manjari Didi. Manjari says, well said, lifted out of the material world. Yes. Oh, and Prajumna Prabhu put the books that you edited in Spanish. All right. Vidyalala Sadidi says, thank you for sharing your memories, Bhavatāriṇī Mātājī and Nṛhari Prabhu. It is divine. And Manjari Didi says, love this explanation of the Nrsingadev painting by Śrīla Prabhupāda. She mentions, yet the Lord is established, is the embodiment, is it, of righteousness. Yeah. I just saw a picture of Śrīla Prabhupāda, and I think Vrindavan is pictured in it. Oh, cool. Maybe you could share that picture with us. All right. Thank you so much. Dandavat Pranams, everybody. I'm very does anybody have anything they want to mention before we end today's stream? Any little glorification of Śrīla Prabhupāda or anything? Or if not, okay. All right, so we'll end there. And see you all tomorrow. Jai Shri Radhe, Jai Śrīla Prabhupāda ki Jai, Jai Śrīla Gurudev ki Jai. Hari Bol.